Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV. Welcome to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It is the Florida Speed Week, night number 5, the Venom Racing for the Steve King Foundation Coast to Coast Racing League, as we get set for the 358 modifiers to take to the racetrack. We've got a field of 23 drivers on hand. Good evening, race fans. My name is Brett Wheeler. A little different in the format here this evening, so the drivers very surely inside the final minute of the practice session. So right at the top of the hour, we are going to go qualifying. They'll have 3 minutes to turn the two laps. The fastest lap time will, of course, line up the 3 heat races on the program. Now, like I said, a little bit different of a format tonight. The 150 lap main event, however, is going to be split into 75 lap feature events. So how it's going to work, you'll see 3 heat races on the program. It'll be 12 laps. Now, it's going to show no cars going through to the feature event. However, that is going to change. So, once everybody gets into the consolation race, that is going to act as the first feature event, which will be concluded over the distance of 75 laps. After that is done, they'll take a 3-minute break. There'll be a warm-up session. Not sure whether the drivers are allowed back on the racetrack during that 3-minute warm-up session. I dare say they would be. However, after that one, the final 75 laps is going to make up a total of 150 green flag laps here around the Volusia Speedway Park, Barberville, Florida. The world's fastest half-mile live right here on Ultimate Dirt TV, live here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's been a stellar week, and not only that here, after the 358 modifieds, it'll be the Flatline Racing Body's Next Gen Daytona to wrap up this speed week. That'll be with Marty and Slide Job Racing Network. That'll be the distance of 100 laps. So a big night here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Big night here on Ultimate Dirt TV as well. As now we get set, ladies and gentlemen, for qualifying. It is about to go down. And again, we're about to see some of the drivers make their way onto the racing surface. So don't forget, make sure you follow us on the social media pages as we are ready for the first few laps to lay down a lap time. And well, one of the first cars on the racetrack is going to be Trent Verstraeten. In fact, it's going to be Pat Boyce. So let's take a look at those times. They're about to come through right now in his second. So there's Pat Boyce. See who else is on the racing surface right now. There's the 127 car of Jesse Atkinson. There's 76 car of Harold Klump. So this will determine how the drivers line up in the heat races, and how they finish will line up what will be tonight's main event. Jeffrey Barker, first lap time with a 16.847, a 16.847. Brian Lawson on screen in the number 9 machine for Venom Racing. Corey Boudinot makes it quick time with a 16.691. Brian Lawson, 5th quick with a 16.807. Kelly Wheeler on the raceway now. Well, again, like I said, we've got a field of what is going to be 23, I think now 24 drivers have made their way into the virtual pit area. Trevor Garreau, quick time with a 16.636, a 16.636. First lap time, I should say, coming through for Kelly Wheeler in the number 110 machine. Trent Verstraeten, by the way, goes second quick. Wheeler will go 18th quick. Dan McLaren in the 88 is position number 9 with a 16.956, a 16.956. Second lap coming through now for Dan McLaren. We know McLaren has already had a feature win so far in Coast to Coast Racing League. As Butch Baker, 5th quick there in the 97 car. Barry Golden just still rolling around on the raceway. It's going to be a total of what is 25 drivers have signed into the pits here this evening. Can we look forward to bringing you all the action live right here on Ultimate Dirt TV, live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Night number 5 of the Steve King Foundation Speed Week, brought to you by Venom Racing. 358 modifieds on the program here this evening. And then don't forget the NASCAR Next Gen cars at Daytona to wrap up what is night number 5. Been a fantastic week with the Coast to Coast Racing League, and we're raising money for the Steve King Foundation. Make sure you check out the Coast to Coast on the internet. It's www.c2crl.com. So we are about to wrap up the qualifying session here tonight, which will of course move us into the first of 3 heat races here on the night. So let's take a look at those qualifying results. So Dylan DeWert Jr., quick time. And again, we are going to see 3 heat races on the program. Trent Verstraeten, Trevor Garreau, Corey Boudinot, Butch Baker. That'll be a top 5. Anthony Morano, Jeffrey Barker, Brian Lawson, Jesse Atkinson, and Jason Butterfield. Heat number 1 lining up like this. Dylan DeWert Jr. lines up the 20 machine from the pole position to the outside of the front row. Car number 34 of Corey Boudinot from position number 2. We go back to the second row inside from position number 3 will be the 513 car of Jeffrey Barker, starting from position number 4, car number 93 of Jason Butterfield. Your third row inside from position number 5 in the 110 machine, that'll be Kelly Wheeler to the outside, driving the Morano Racing, car number 33 from position number 6, that is John Morano. Then we go back to row number 4 from the inside in position number 7. Car number 88, that is Dan McLaren. And to the outside, the Burger King entry of Andrew Hansley will roll off out of the 8th starting position. If he decides to make his way here on the raceway, driving the Coast2Coast Racing Steve King Foundation 747 car of Roger Craig will line up out of position number 9. So they're going to be 12 laps in distance, the heat races here this evening. Again, we appreciate your support here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. We're just waiting the one driver. As you can see, our field is lined up behind the iRacing.com and Steve King Foundation official pace car. So don't forget, later on this evening, right around 9:30 Eastern, live on Ultimate Dirt TV, it's going to be round number 4 of the Down and Dirty Outlaw Pro Late Models, headed to Cedar Lake Speedway. All right, there is the pace car rolling away from the front straightaway. And just the 8 cars to get ready to do battle here at Volusia Speedway Park. Dylan DeWert Jr. driving that Full Throttle Motorsports number 20 machine. Corey Boudinot in the 34 car to the outside of the front row. Hello, Dean. Oh, what's going on with Discord? Oh, no, there we go. It's back again. Safe travels, buddy. Safe travels. Enjoy the road. Enjoy the race. Heat number 1. Everybody going to the show. Green flag is out and we are underway. Night number 5 of the Steve King Foundation Speedweek, brought to you by Venom Racing, is green. Kelly Wheeler catches the inside wall. We'll lose a couple of spots back to McLaren and Morano. Meanwhile, watching Boudinot along with Jason Butterfield and Jeffrey Barker. Barker and Butterfield. Butterfield on the outside. Barker on the inside as they work down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. The 358 modifieds here. Live from the virtual Volusia Speedway Park, live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network and on Ultimate Dirt TV. As Dylan DeWert Jr. still leading the way out in front here in heat race number 1. 3 heats on the program, a total of 36 laps over the 3 heat races, 12 laps apiece, and then a 75 lap, what is going to say consolation race, but it's the first half of a 150 lap A main event. Warm-up session, then another 75 laps to wrap up the night as we work down into 1 and 2. Look at Kelly Wheeler in the 110 machine. Wheeler over the past couple of weeks has featured on the podium just a couple of times here on a Thursday night, so coming into the Speed Week, got some good momentum in the 110 machine, but just at the moment, just struggling a little bit right there with Dan McLaren. As McLaren holds on to position number 5, John Morano improving in leaps and bounds right now. Here comes John Morano to the outside of Wheeler down the back straightaway. See a battle on screen for 6th and 7th position. Meanwhile, your race leader has just completed lap number 5, so only a lap away from half race distance here in heat race number 1. Dylan DeWert Jr. leading the way over Corey Boudinot. Back to third place driver Jason Butterfield on screen right now. Jeffrey Barker in the 513. Going to hold off Dan McLaren in the 88. McLaren going to work it to the top side of the racetrack through 1 and 2. Barker still working to that inside racing line. Stays glued mid-track right there, just making sure that, well, the inside line is not going to be left open for business. If you're going to get around Jeffrey Barker, you're going to have to go the long way. Well, Dan McLaren says, okay, challenge accepted. I'll go the long way around. Look out, here comes the tub. And there it is, down the back straightaway. McLaren nearly got to the side there of the 513 car of Jeffrey Barker. 4 to run. Heat race number 1. Night number 5. Of the Steve King Foundation Speedweek presented by Venom Racing. Live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network and live on Ultimate Dirt TV. Boy, look at that high, wide and handsome. Goes Dan McLaren in the 88. He's going to lose a ton of ground. As we've got 2.5 laps to go for your race leader in that number 20 machine just to the left of your screen. That is Dylan DeWert Jr. Back to Corey Boudinot. So DeWert, after setting quick time here this evening, he's looking to start on pole of tonight's 150-lap main event. Back straight away for the penultimate time here in what is going to be heat race number 1 of 3. It is Dylan DeWert Jr. We'll see the white flag waving. Kelly Wheeler closing in on Dan McLaren, and Morano looking to close in on Wheeler as they work down the front straight of those cars, but down the back straight away for the final time here in heat race number 1. It's going to be Dylan DeWert Jr. He'll just set it upstairs, knowing that he's got no pressure from behind. Checkered flag is out, and we are done there in heat race number 1. And just like that, the opening heat is completed. And we've still got 2 more heats to go. Let's take a look at those official results coming up on screen. Dylan DeWert Jr. gets the win over Corey Boudinot in 2nd. Jason Butterfield 3rd. Jeffrey Barker 4th. Dan McLaren gets up 5. Kelly Wheeler in 6th. John Morano, Andrew Hansley in 8th. And of course Roger Craig not making the start of heat race number 1. Heat number 2 going to line up this way to the outside of the front row. The 088 of Trent Verstraeten. He'll start on pole position. And Butch Baker lines up the 97 machine. He'll start from position number 2. Then we go back to your 3rd starter in caliber 9. That'll be Brian Lawson from 4. It's caliber 78 of Jack Clevenger. Your 5th starter driving the 007 machine is going to be Samuel Bachman to the outside. Pat Boyce lines up the 041 machine from position number 6. At position number 7 and 8, it'll be Harold Klump in the 76 from position number 7 and Gary Siegel-Coe in car 25 to line up out of position number 8. 8 cars in what is heat race number 2. And what is night number 4, night number 5 of the Steve King Foundation Speedweek brought to you by Venom Racing. All put on by the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Green flag is out for Straiten and Baker. Boy, and this is going to be a very interesting heat race with their Brian Lawson along with Bachman, Clevenger, Boyce, Siegel-Coe and Klump as they work down the back straightaway for the first of 12 seconds here in heat race number 2. Lawson getting a little tight now to the inside. Goes Samuel Bachman. They almost made it 3 wide for Straiten. Holds on to the race lead as they work down into complete lap number 1. Butch Baker runs in 2nd. Jack Clevenger in 3rd. Top 3. Now look at this. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Nearly 3 wide as Pat Boyce is working it right upstairs. And he looks to get around the 9 car of Brian Lawson. Lawson holds on to position number 4. Keep an eye on Butch Baker. Baker knows that he's just going to get just a little bit closer than 0.2 of a second to the back of Verstraeten in that 088 machine. And again, Lawson and Boyce again working bottom and working to the top through 3 and 4. Lawson still holding on to position number 4 at the start-finish line. That could be a different story by the time they complete this next lap as they work down the back straightaway. Clevenger now looking down to the inside there on Butch Baker, down into 3 and 4. So Clevenger going to move to the inside of Baker. It's going to be Pat Boyce to move to position number 4. Watching now two-car battles there down the back straightaway. Baker in the 97, Clevenger in the 78 machine. Clevenger again just working to the inside. He's going to follow the line of your race leader, and hey, it's working. Jack Clevenger moved into position number 2 at the start-finish time, but again, Butch Baker still making it work through the middle of the raceway. Heat race number 2 is about to be at the cross flag sticks, halfway home here in what is heat race number 2. Night number 5 of the Steve King Foundation. Venom Racing, Coast to Coast Racing Speedweek 358 modifieds live from the Volusia Speedway Park. Clevenger may have caught the inside wall there And of course, that allowed Baker. Baker tried to switch the lines up on the exit of turn number 4. He went from the middle right down to the inside of the raceway. There is Boys going to battle with now Samuel Backman, as Backman has got by the 9 car of Brian Lawson, putting Lawson outside of a top 5 position. Going to have to start deep in this main event here in just a few moments' time, but still, after we complete heat race number 2, we've still got the third and final heat race of the night. But right now, heat number 2 on track, coming to complete lap number 9, 3 circuits, which is 1.5 miles around the Volusia Speedway Park. Boyce and Backman going to go out of Backman down to the inside on Boyce, as Boyce continuing to work through the middle of the raceway. It's a good drag race down the back straight away between Pat Boys as Backman catches a piece of the concrete wall. He'll drift up the racetrack. In goes the 9 car of Brian Lawson with 2 to run. So Brian Lawson moves back to position number 5, but Backman again has to work back to the outside of Lawson and completes the pass, and now comes back after Boys with a run. And an almighty run, I must say, down the back straight away. White flag is out, 1 lap left to go for Trent Verstraeten to start on the outside, of the front row of tonight's 150 lap main event. Yes, you heard that right. It'll be split into a twin 75 feature event into 3 and 4. Final time, checkered flag is out. Trent Verstraeten gets the win over Jack Clevenger in second spot. Butch Baker third. Pat Boyce in 4. Samuel Backman rounds out your top 5. Brian Lawson, Harold Klump and Gary Sigelko to make up heat race number 2 drivers. Here they are. There's your results. Verstraeten, Clevenger, Baker, your top 3. Boyce and Backman, your top 5. Lawson, Klump and Sigelko, the 8 drivers in heat race number 2. Third and final heat race of the evening. And boy, oh boy, what a field this is going to be. What a front row. Trevor Garreau in the 075 machine. He'll start to the pole position to the outside of the front row. The 32 car of Anthony Morano. Jesse Atkinson rolls off the 127 machine from position number 3. From position number 4, Michael Vitale in the 213 car. GJ Boydell driving the 014 machine will start inside the third row from 5, and from 6 it'll be the 17 car of Mark Gilbert. Then we go back to the 36 car of Barry Goldner from 7, and Zach Chapman in the right row to Scooby-Doo entry. He'll start from position number 8. Looking forward to this one, heat race number 3, third and final heat of the evening, getting set to roll. Garreau and Morano. Boy, another stout front row field here in the heat races. Again, this is for what is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 and 24 starting positions. So Chapman immediately going to look to move into 6th position, but watching Atkinson and Vitale. Atkinson dives down to the inside. Vitale gets a little bit of a front bumper there from Mark Gilbert in the 17 car. Gilbert's going to lose 2 spots back to Boydell and Chapman. But it's Trevor Garreau leading the race from Anthony Morano. Your top 4 on screen. Jesse Atkinson still working down to the inside, down into turn number 3 and 4. And your battle is on for the minor placing, but it's going to be all Trevor Garreau out in front at the moment. But Anthony Morano, both these drivers very experienced when it comes to the modifieds. Here on the iRacing.com service and here with the Coast2Coast Racing Leagues. We see him week in and week out. We will go yellow. Zach Chapman in car 72 around. Let's take a look at a replay. Oh, just got caught up there with Gilbert. Again, we'll have another. So Gilbert just gets to his outside. Maybe just that Chapman not realising how close he actually was. And we've got our drone camera here. Now just unfortunately the 72 car. Well, hasn't had his Scooby snacks tonight. Cars just got hooked together there on the back straightaway, and you can see Chapman was already found his way into the pits. In fact, he's back out onto the racing surface as the field gets the 2 to green signal right now. So the lights are still on. In fact, they've just turned off. So we're going to go green flag racing here off turn number 4. So Chapman will be able to tag on to the back of this field. All right, here we go. Coming back to green flag action here. in what is heat race number 3. It's going to be Trevor Garreau, Morano, Atkinson, Vitali, and Gilbert. And again, Gilbert sending it deep around the outside. Atkinson still trying to put pressure on Morano as here comes Vitali, trying to make it 3 wide through the middle, but Vitali just done the right thing, backed out of it. There for the moment, Vitali looking through the middle. Gilbert, boy, getting the car a little too sideways on the entry into turn number 3, but Trevor Garreau still leads the way. In heat race number 3, Morano back to second position. Morano now he's going to look for the race lead down to the inside. Seeing a battle between Trevor Garreau, Anthony Morano. Garreau right through the middle. Morano down to the inside, and still Trevor Garreau by 2 to 3 tenths of a second. It's probably about a quarter of a second, to be honest with you. And that's all that separates first and second. We are already halfway home. Now we get into what will be now as we complete this lap. It will be the final 5 laps of heat racing competition, and all that separates these drivers right now is a 150 lap A main event split up into twin 75 lap races. Gilbert again with a run to the top side into turn number 3. Garreau and Morano just switching lines. Garreau went to the bottom there on that lap. Morano went to the top, and again they're going to switch lines down into 1 and 2. Very interesting decision here from both these drivers. So they're both using the top and the bottom. They're both using it one end. So Garreau will use the top in 1 and 2. He'll use the bottom in 3 and 4. Now Morano says, okay, you know what? Let's try it. Let's give it a good go. Let's give it a whirl. 2.5 to run. It's still 2 tenths of a second, although this time Morano's going to keep it upstairs. Glued through the middle of the raceway, but Garreau drives away from him, and Garreau was nearly a tenth quicker there on the previous lap. Jesse Atkinson was a tenth quicker than Morano, so Atkinson only 9 1/1000ths of a second off the lap time there of Trevor Garreau on the previous lap. Will come to the white flag. 1 lap remaining. Battle is on between Gilbert and Vitali for what is 4th and 5th position as GJ Boydell trying to throw his hat into the mix as they work down the back straight away. Final time into turn number 3 and off for turn number 4. It's going to be Trevor Garreau getting the win over Anthony Morano. Jesse Atkinson 3rd. 4th will go to Mark Gilbert, I believe, from Michael Vitali. Let's take a look at your results. Garreau gets the win. Morano, Atkinson, Gilbert, Vitali, Boydell, Chapman and Goldner. But now it is time to go feature race action. Let's take a look at your starting lineup for tonight's first half of this feature event. Dylan DeWitt makes up the 20 machine from the pole position. Trent Stratton lines up at position number 2. We'll go back to Trevor Garreau lining up at position number 3. Corey Boudinot lines up at position number 4. Position number 5 will be Jack Clevenger. From position number 6, it is Anthony Morano. From position number 7, Jason Butterfield. From 8, it's the 97 car of Butch Baker. From 9, the 127 of Jesse Atkinson. From 10, it's Jeffrey Barker. From 11, it's Pat Boyce. From position number 12, Mark Gilbert. From position number 13, Dan McLaren. From 14, Samuel Backman. Going to our 15th starter in car number 213, that was Michael Vitali. From 16, the 110 of Kelly Wheeler. Position number 17, it's Brian Lawson. From 18, GJ Boydell. From position number 19, it's John Morano. From 20, it's Harold Klump. From position number 21, Zach Chapman. From position number 22, Andrew Hansley. Position number 23, Gary Siegelcoat. From position number 24, Barry Goldner. And lining up at the back of the field in the 747 car, that is Roger Craig, lining up out of position number 25. So all drivers will go through to the feature event. I believe we are ready for a start as the pace car now gets the 1 to green signal. So as they work down the front straight away, main event time, 75 laps on the board. This is going to be entertaining, to say the least. Who will take out the first half of this feature event? It's time to go racing. Steve King Foundation, night number 5. Venom Racing Speedweek live from the Volusia Speedway Park. Your main event is underway. As they work down the front straightaway for the first time, Verstraeten around the outside on Dylan DeWert Jr. But DeWert fights back on the inside as they work down into 3 and 4. Garone got on the anchors. Oh boy, look out, contact in the mid-pack. It's going to be Verstraeten who will lead lap number 1 of this 150 lap main event, but again split into twin 75 lap races. Yellow is out. The 25 car of Gary Sigelco. Take a look at the instant replay to see what happened here to Sigelco. Oh, it started with John Morano, in fact. So the 30 car of Morano, there was contact with Kelly Wheeler. It was Morano half spun the car. Gary Sigelco goes on by and just says, okay, that's okay, I'll move on by. And unfortunately, that will bring on the cautions for the first time here this evening. Again, like I said, the different format in these speed weeks. Of course, next week coming back to regular weekly competition with the Coast to Coast. Don't forget tomorrow night, Friday night, the Friday Night Lights, 358 Modifieds Pro Late Models and 360 Wing Sprint Cars. Presented by Dirt Track Bank. They'll be at the Lenville Speedway, live on Gotcha 6 Racing Network. Week number 9 next week, we'll all come back to do it all again. They race on Sunday night, the Sunday Fun Day, and then come back Monday night with the Osh Weekend Speedway. Monday Night Madness live with Marty and Slide Job Racing Network. It is going to be 358 Modifieds, 360 Rebel Division, and 360 Renegades Divisions from 6:30 Eastern all the way up until probably finishing about 9:30 to 10 Eastern. And then we go back to Tuesday night. It's going to be the Mid-Atlantic Qualifier Showdown, but there will be also some other racing going on. I believe they've got another qualifier for some late models. Wednesday night, the Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes. Live with Joe White, OSR Red, as well as live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Then, of course, Gambler Motorsports. Thursday night, Thunder live on Ultimate Dirt TV and on Extreme eSpeed TV. Next week, we head to the Kokomo Raceway. Looking forward to that one getting back to weekly competition. The RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds and the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modifieds. All right, lights are out. And we're ready to go back racing here off turn number 4. Trent Verstraeten is your pole sitter, and he says, okay, boys, let's go racing. 1 down, make it 2 down with 73 to run in the first half of this 150-lap main event. Boudinot got some pressure right there with the 78 car of Jack Clevenge as they work down into turn number 3 and 4. But Anthony Morano, Butch Baker will battle it out side by side. Meanwhile, Butterfield has got McLaren and Barker 3 wide down the front straightaway. Where do you want to look? There's 2 and 3 1 action all throughout this field. Battle on between Garot and Boudinot up there for what is positions number 3, 4 and 5. And now there's a battle coming on for the race leaders. Dylan DeWert Jr. is looking to find a way by Trent Verstraeten. Verstraeten to the outside. DeWert right on the inside of the racing surface as DeWert and Verstraeten go wheel to wheel down the back straightaway. Nose. Who's going to be in front? Who's going to lead this one by a nose? Well, Dylan DeWert has it more than by a nose. He's got it by a car length there over Trent Verstraeten as DeWert slides up in front of Verstraeten. He'll now back off the throttle, knowing that it's still early on in tonight's main event. Some drivers may need to save the tyre wear. We'll get a good idea on who's going to save the tyre wear, who's going to push it for the first 75 laps of this 150 lap main event. Again, this is split into twin 75s. So while it says consolation up the top left, it is in fact the A main. Verstraeten holding on to position number 2. So you've still got your 3 heat race winners as they stand 1, 2 and 3. DeWert with the win in heat race number 1. He leads from Trent Verstraeten, the winner of heat race number 2. Then you go back to Trevor Garot in 3rd, who picked up the win in heat race number 3. And then Corey Boudinot was hot on the tail. And look at this. Here it comes. A six-way battle right there. You've got 2 by 2 by 2 for the first 6 positions. And now, where do you want to look? It doesn't really matter because you can see your top 6 all battling it out for the first 6 places. And they've got a bit of a gap back to Butch Baker, Jeffrey Barker, Dan McLaren, and Michael Vitale rounding out your top 10. Still the battle on for the race lead between DeWord along with Verstraeten, but still watching this battle for the final spot on the podium. As the 75 car of Trevor Garreau, the 075 I should say, has got it from Corey Boudinot. Again, Boudinot working at the top of the racetrack. Morano in car 32, just got by Jack Clevenger. And Clevenger just starting to slip back just a little bit, maybe thinking, hey, we're probably pushing a little too hard, knowing that there's 75 laps on the board. And this will give a good indication of these guys on how hard they can push for what is going to be the second half of this feature event. Verstraeten still trying to make it work by Dylan DeWert Jr. And again, DeWert goes through the middle. He'll slide it up just below the marbles as we're going to go yellow. Just trying to figure out the issue here. So watching Jason Butterfield. Oh, there it is. Ouch. So Jason Butterfield in the 93 car. It was Pat Boyce in the 041. So from that angle, it doesn't really give us an indication that sort of who's really at fault for that one. But I guess that's not, we're not here to worry about who's at fault for that one. We're just here to call the race, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So Jason Butterfield driving the Venom Racing Subaru Car Series number 93 car. So he'll go back to the tail end of the field. So not a bad green flag run there. We had about 10 laps. I gotta say the first 6, top 6 after they'd broken away, happened to find themselves in 2 by 2 by 2 formation. Lights are out on the safety car. Alright, so for some reason it's not showing Zach Chapman on the timing and scoring. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take that down for a minute, because we are going to reload the timing software and it should show up, but we know who is who in the zoo as Dylan DeWert Jr. leads from Trent Verstraeten as they work down off for turn number 2. Corey Buda now looking to move into, well, he's found himself in a podium position right now as they work into 3 and 4. Verstraeten has got Boudinot to the outside. Then you go back to Trevor Garreau in the 075 machine. Jack Clevenger in car 78, Anthony Morano in the 32, Jeffrey Barker in the 513, Butch Baker in car number 97. Hey, we can go all through this field and we can tell you who is who in the zoo. Meanwhile, Corey Boudinot in that number 34 machine has now found his way up to a runner-up position right now. Now the timing and scoring going to come back up on your screen. Should show all 25 drivers. That it does. Dylan DeWert Jr. leading the way over Corey Boudinot. Then you go back to Trent Verstraeten in 3rd position. Trevor Garreau 4th. Jack Clevenger rounds out your top 5. Then you go back to Jeffrey Barker in 6th. Anthony Morano 7th. And I notice Morano doesn't look like he's pushing all that hard at the moment. Just sitting there riding along, saving the equipment, knowing that, well, he's still got fair ways to go 3 wide as McLaren gets a little shot in the shorts there from Gilbert. Gilbert goes through the middle. Gilbert and McLaren make contact yet again. And boy, the 17 car of Mark Gilbert, he's in everything at the moment. He'll go back to the top shelf down into 3 and 4. In fact, it's right through the middle. It's not quite right upstairs, but he now looks to get to the outside of that 88 machine of Dan McLaren. Wheeler going by Samuel Bachman for that 10th spot, so a top 10. As now everybody's just starting to spread themselves thin here at the Volusia Speedway Park. Night number 5 of the Steve King Foundation Coast to Coast Racing Speed Week here at the Florida Speed Weeks. 358 modifieds presented by Venom Racing here this evening. And we'll see another lap in the books. 56 laps left on the timing tower. Trevor Garreau just thinking, hey, maybe it's time to go upstairs. So again, this is your main event. Trevor Garreau trying to close in there on Trent Verstraeten. Second, third, fourth on screen as they work through the third and fourth turn with 54 to run. Dylan DeWert Jr. Corey Booten have been very impressive here in the opening 21 laps of this 150 lap feature event. But how will he hold on? How will this play out? There is still plenty of time. Don't forget these races, they will be split into twin 75 lap features. Of course, can't go the entire 150 laps, so they'll do the unconventional way, and they will split it, albeit so a consolation race for 75 laps, and then the main event will show this final 75 laps. Tell you what, Trevor Garreau starting to find his feet here as the race continues to move on. Jack Clevenden now going to have some company with the 5-13 car, that Team RWB car of Jeffrey Barker. And Barker looking for the first time to move into a top 5. Anthony Morano back there into position number 7. There is 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th on screen. Yellow is out. Brian Lawson involved in car number 9. Just gets a little love tap from Barry Goldner in car number 36. Should get a good look at that one just here. Yeah, just there, right in front of us is when the initial contact was made. Oh, Gary Sigelco. Sigelco nowhere to go in that little exchange, unfortunately. So as they pace around here behind the iRacing.com pace truck. So Brian Lawson there on screen. We go up front to your race leader of Dylan DeWert Jr. driving the Full Throttle Motorsports number 20 machine. I'm sure he would love to restart this main event on pole position in 50 laps time for the final 75 lap feature. The final 75 laps of this feature event, I should say. So the lights to go out as the field again move up into rows of 2x2. So Dylan DeWert Jr. has opted to go to the outside of the front row. Maybe learning something from the previous restart with Corey Boudineau, who actually restarted in position number 4 there on the final on that last restart before this one, and worked his way all the way around the outside. Here comes Verstraeten and Trevor Garreau. They're going to split the 34 car 3 wide down into 3 and 4. We run for the minor placings. Garreau upstairs, Boudineau through the middle, and then Trent Verstraeten down to the inside. Boudineau going to shut the door on Verstraeten as Boudineau gets clear of both the 075 car of Trevor Garreau, but Garreau going to fight back down the back straightaway. Oh my, you know it's going to be on right now, on like Donkey Kong. It's still Corey Boudineau to hold on to the second spot. Not a little one, but a big slider thrown on himself, but to get clear of that 075 machine. Just trying to go back to his preferred line as they work down into 3 and 4. Boudreaux through the middle. Trevor Garreau now on the inside. Will go yellow. Dan McLaren in the 88 machine. Missing a left front now. Oh, just got up into the side of GJ Boydell. Well, Jason Butterfield was just trying to come through. So have a look on board with Dan McLaren. And ouch. Well, I know the old saying is leave the left front at home, but didn't think that Dan McLaren was literally going to leave the left front back at home. All right, lights are out. Stratton has got Trevor Garreau to the inside. Can Stratton capitalise? Both those guys we've seen in victory lane and on the podium here in Coast to Coast racing coverage. Steve King Foundation, iRacing.com. Safety car is back in field. We're back underway. And it is Dylan DeWert Jr. once again going to lead this field down the back straight away. Stratton and Garreau trying to come after. Look out, Barker gets into the back of Clevenger. They both save it. 3 wide off turn number 4. Once again we run. Boy, these restarts are absolutely pandemonium. Just drivers just going inside, outside, any which way possible to try and find a lane here at the Volusia Speedway Park. Barker now has got Anthony Morano looking to the inside. So yes, it says there's 45 to run. I can tell you right now that it is going to be a 150 lap main event here from Volusia. Backman now working to the outside of the teammate of Anthony Morano. Morano just starting to slip back just a little bit. So right there we see Morano, Backman, now Butch Baker, Mark Gilbert into the mix right now. Oh, problems there. Problems near the front of the field. It's Gary Sigelco, the lap car. He was just slowing in 1 and 2 right in front of your race leader. But they all managed to get away around the 25 car, so they're going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. John Morano trying to come out on the raceway as well, and that's going to bring out the caution. He was slow coming out of the pits. Oh boys, probably no need to do that one. You probably just need to wait till the cars go by and then come out onto the raceway. But you know what? It is what it is, eh? We all make the mistake. Can't say we haven't done it, because I know I have. You don't want to go too many laps down. And right there already, John Morano 4 laps down. He'll still make his way onto the raceway. But I'll tell you what, Jeffrey Barker, Samuel Backman, Butch Baker, and Anthony Morano, boy, they had a pretty good battle. Just outside of the top 5 from positions number 6 through to position number 9. So 6, 7, 8, 9. But again, it was that that lap car moment from Gary Sigelco that sees Gary Sigelco in the 25 coming back down pit side. Now again, these drivers have one fast repair, albeit actually technically two fast repairs, because they'll have one in the consolation race, which is the first half of the feature event, and then one in the feature race, which will be the final back half of the 75 lap main event. So wait for the lights to go out here on the Steve King Foundation pace car, the iRacing.com safety car as well. All right, here we are once again. Get ready to go back racing. Here we go, back underway. Your A main event in the first half of this 75 lap feature. Again, C's Dylan DeWert Jr. leading from Corey Boudinot. Again, Boudinot, he's still got some company right there. He can't rest easy, knowing that Trent Verstraeten, now Jeffrey Barker, along with Trevor Garreau. Verstraeten catches a piece of the inside wall. He drifts upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nearly 5. Make it 5 positions as Samuel Backman goes on by. G. Verstraeten, you go from a podium to outside the top 5, just barely scraping on to a top 10, and right in the thick of things right now is Backman, Verstraeten and Morano nearly go 3 wide down the back straight away. Clevenger finally coming back after Jeffrey Barker in the 513 machine. Clevenger in that white number 78 machine, 3 wide. Trevor Garreau upstairs. Morano now starting to find a rhythm, and again, this is a good practice run for the back half of this 75 lap main event, knowing that the track is going to get a little bit slicker after this one. It's still on right now. Going to be for that minor place in the final spot on the podium. Jeffrey Barker slowly but surely coming after Trevor Garreau, and now here comes Anthony Morano. Morano, like I said, he probably just saved his equipment for the first half of this 75 lap main event. So we're 40 down, make that 41 down with 34 to go for the first 75 laps of this feature event. You're watching here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast2Coast Racing Network for the Florida Speedweek Steve King Foundation night number 5, presented by Venom Racing. Small block 358 modifieds here at the Volusia Speedway Park. Morano sweeping around the outside of Jeffrey Barker through turn number 1 and 2. Clevenger now going to do the same thing, and bringing Clevenger is the 007 machine. Is Samuel Backman. Mark Gilbert as well. Verstraeten has found his way. Oh, problems for Kelly Wheeler. Problems for Wheeler in turns 3 and 4. Now it looked like Wheeler got into the side of Boyce in that 041 machine. Yeah, the car just somewhat straightened up just a little bit. Wow, well. Yeah, case to argue for that one. So watch as they come into 3 and 4. That really is not going to show you all that what happened, but boy, real good indication of how these drivers are able to somewhat take evasive action. Looks like Boyce actually just came down just a little bit, looking at that angle. Chapman involved, Butterfield involved. John Morano done well to get out of that one, I got to say. But again, this slows up and gets the field back into rows of 2x2 formation. What happened there? Alright, so we're not too far away from going back green. Here we go, back underway. A main time. And it's going to be your race leader of Dylan DeWord Jr. Out in front. Over Corey Boudinot in second. Boudinot again puts the big slider line there. On Morano as we'll go yellow. Oh, look out, Pat Boyce in the 41 machine. Upside down he goes, the only car. McLaren, Roger Craig involved, John Morano, Butch Baker, Kelly Wheeler, Michael Vitale involved, Kelly Wheeler involved. And all sorts of problems there. And a huge stack up, which leaves us with 30 to run. So again, we aren't too far away from getting this race back underway. Here we are back underway. No main time. The first 75 laps of this same main. Again, it's Dylan DeWord Jr. from Corey Boudinot. Here comes Trevor Garrow on the outside. Anthony Morano in the 32 to the inside. Mark Gilbert trying to come through the mix as well. Problems for Zach Chapman. Dan McLaren involved. We could be going yellow. There it is, right on cue. Yeah, I'm going to just go with Dylan DeWord. I've called his name 1,000 times previously. That could be some sort of stitch up, Dean. Get the feeling you're trying to stitch me up. I tell you, just once we can call him Dylan DeWord. There you go. There's your one time. All right. So later on tonight on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, Daytona 100 scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern. So again, who can lead? Oh, I know. I know you're weird at Full Throttle Motorsports. I know. I'll give you that one. 28 to go for the first half of this 150 lap A main event. So in roughly about an hour's time, just under an hour hopefully, the Daytona 100 with Marty and Slide Job Racing Network will be live on Coast to Coast as well as we come back to the green flag. That's Corey Boudinot again. This time he's got Anthony Morano having a good Captain Cook out of the inside. Trevor Garreau going to send it upstairs. Mark Gilbert through the middle. And I tell you what, the first 40 laps of this race, Gilbert, and even going back to the heat race, it looked like he was throwing the car down into 1 and 2. Even in 3 and 4, looked like that number 17 car was just getting a little too sideways, maybe for my liking. But hey, I'm not inside the cockpit of that number 17. But boy, I tell you what, he's making it work. He's up to position number 4 as he just got by Trevor Garreau. Now Jack Clevenger fights down to the inside. They were 3 wide on the entry into turn number 1. They're now going to be 3 wide down the back straight away. Gilbert could be getting swallowed up. He's going to get chewed up and spat out if he's not too careful. But somehow he's still making the middle work. Maybe top 1 and 2, middle 3 and 4 is going to be the place to be. Look at Trevor Garreau in the 075. Working to the outside, down the back straightaway. Jack Clevenger with a run again. 3 wide one more time. 24 circuits around the Volusia Speedway Park. Here comes Trent Verstraeten, going to make it 3 wide with Clevenger and Garreau. Bachman and Barker just to the right of your screen in positions number 8 and 9. GJ Boydell up to position number 10. 3 wide again down the front straightaway. Verstraeten and Clevenger. Barker's going to go around. Oh, the 513. Barker goes around. Roger Craig, Kelly Wheeler involved once again. Oh boy, tough break for the driver of the number 513 cars. We watch high above the raceway. Oh, GJ Boydell got him. Just looked like the 513 car just checked up just a little bit. Wheeler, Craig, nowhere to go. Again, watching right from the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Yeah, you can see the contact made. And Barker just basically just hit the brakes and was just hoping and praying that, well, nobody got him, got into the side of the 513 car. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So the first half of this 75. Now after this one, we're not going to talk to the top 3 because there is going to be a 3-minute warm-up session. Of course, we do have a couple of ads to play for that one. Again, just thanking everybody for the contribution over the Speed Week. And of course, for everybody's contribution here each and every week with the Coast2Coast Racing Network. So Dylan DeWert Jr. still leads with 22 to run, so 53 laps complete. And we're still pretty much none the wiser of who's going to go to victory lane because, well, all these drivers, they're showing some real good speed, but I got to say, the man to beat at the moment is obviously your race leader. Dylan DeWert Jr. getting the quickest qualifier. As now we come back to green. We're back underway. In tonight's A main event, DeWert from Morano and now Corey Boudinot. Boudinot now is going to work to the outside of Anthony Morano. But Morano going down to the inside as it's going to be, I think that was Corey Boudinot who had second at the start-finish line. Gilbert in car 17. Boy, I tell you what, he's been a real sleeper in this field. And can he find a way to find himself onto a podium position? Boy, there's a massive gap. What happened there on that restart? Because your top four, they are well and truly clear. 1.5 seconds almost back to position number 5. That's Trent Verstraeten. And somehow, some way, shape or form, we've gotten away from in the space of what was 5 laps. Jeez, it would have been nice to actually pay attention to that one. Corey Budino, meanwhile, trying to pay attention to a different line to what your race leader is running at the moment. As there goes Dylan DeWert Jr. He'll run the slider line right up across the nose of the 34 car of Corey Budino. But again, now Budino, will he go back to the inside? No, he goes back upstairs. Meanwhile, speaking of going inside, there goes the 17 car of Mark Gilbert, trying to get by Anthony Morano. Top 4 on screen. DeWert in the 20 car, your race leader. Budino in the 34 in second spot. Anthony Morano in the 32 in third position. And Mark Gilbert in the 17 in position number 4. Albeit right now with 16.5 to run for the first half of this twin 75 lap feature event, which is of course a total of 150 laps. We are only 16 away from completing that first half. Go back, look at Jason Butterfield. Boy, Butterfield, he was involved in an earlier incident. He's had to come from the tail end of the field, and the 93 car has just been picking them off one by one, saving the equipment. And it's something that I spoke about at the start of the show, was drivers saving their equipment. In the start of the race, I should say, is who can save the equipment. They use this basically as a test session. How far, how much can they save before they push the button and before they flick the switch to go, 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 go. Samuel Bachman now coming after Jack Clevenger. Meanwhile, just keeping an eye on the top left of your screen. Just keeping an eye on the distance between your top 4 drivers. Morano from the top, from position number 3, was a 10th quicker than anybody else on the raceway. Now, speaking of that one, he in fact just lost a 10th of a second, because now it was Mark Gilbert who was the quickest car. Boy, again, there's nothing in it between your top 4. They are separated by 9/10 of a second. But boy, they are really turning some good lap times here. And that time it was Dylan DeWert. No, in fact, it was Anthony Morano by 5/1,000 of a second. Listen to these lap times. Morano, 17.358. Budino, 17.362. And DeWert with a 17.363. Budino closing in. He was nearly a 10th quicker there on your race leader. We start what is lap number 65. And at the completion of this one, there is going to be 10 laps left to run in the first half of this 150 lap main event. So we're 65 down. And what is 85 to go, but 10 to go in the first half. Let's go back, look at the battle between Jason Butterfield and the 93 car. Samuel Bachman in the 007 machine. Jack Clevenger right there watching these two cars battle it out side by side. Butterfield's got it at the moment. Not very surprised to see on the exit of turn number 4. They're 3 wide behind him. Dan McLaren, the 127 car of Jesse Atkinson, and the 075 of Trevor Garreau. I'm very surprised to see how much moisture is actually left on the exit of turn number 4. It looks like there's still quite a bit there to run right through the middle. That's where we see a lot of these drivers working. Again, how is that going to play effect in the back half of this 150 lap main event with 7 to run in the first part of the twin 75s. DeWert still leads with now 6 to run. Budino, second position. Third is Anthony Morano. Fourth is Gilbert in the 17 car. I'm sure again how they finish this first 75 laps is how they will restart the second 75 laps, which of course will show the feature. The top left says Consolation at the moment. That's not correct. It's just that the way they have to work it with the format here on iRacing and what iRacing give us. So they split it into twin 75s. Of course, I don't think you can go 150 laps on these tanks of fuel anyway. We've got 4 laps left to run for DeWert Jr. to lead. It was pretty much led every lap so far of this feature event, and he's had a clean set of tyre tracks so far to open up. Of course, going back from fastest qualifier to a heat race victory, and now leading the first half of this feature event. Budino still runs in second position. I'm sure these drivers, now basically they're only going to get the 3-minute break, and they might not even get that. And I'll tell you why, because with a lap and a half to go, after this session, they roll into a 3-minute warm-up session. They might go out there and go on the racetrack. They might get some lap turns, but it's probably a good time just to get up and stretch the legs. But the white flag is out. 1 to go in the first half of the twin 75-lap feature event here at the Volusia Speedway Park, into 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be Dylan DeWert Jr. holding on over Corey Budino in second. Anthony Morano third. Fourth is going to be Mark Gilbert. Again, we'll go through the restart or the finishing order, and then we'll go through the restart order here in just a few moments' time. We'll take a look at those results about to come up on screen. There we go. We've got a 3-minute warm-up session now. And there it is. There is your finishing order for the first 75 laps of this feature event, the Steve King Foundation. Night number 5, presented by Venom Racing for the Florida Speedweek's Coast2Coast Racing League Speedweek. DeWert, Budino, Morano, Gilbert, Verstraeten. That'll be your top 5. Backman, Atkinson, McLaren, Vitali, and Butterfield, your top 10. We're not going to talk about the rest of the drivers, but we are just going to show them just on screen, just to show them a bit of love, just to show that we do actually care. And of course, at the back end of this 25-car feature field. So, first 75 laps is complete, and I can tell you right now, not one driver is on the racetrack. So we'll take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. Back in just a few short moments with a quick word from our sponsors. And we are back here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. It's the Florida Speedweek Steve King Foundation, night number 5, presented by Venom Racing here from the Volusia Speedway Park. Good evening, race fans. Brett Wheeler with you for the call once again. As we get set, we have the final 75 laps of this 150-lap A-main event to come. So let's take a look right now at your restart order. Let's get that back up on screen. So let's go through your restart order for what is going to be the final 75 laps of this 150-lap main event to see who will take out the crown here from the coveted Volusia Speedway Park. Dylan DeWert Jr. and Corey Budino are going to make up the front row. Then we go back to row number 2 will be Anthony Morano and Mark Gilbert. Row 3 will see Trent Verstappen start alongside Samuel Backman. Row number 4, Jesse Atkinson and Dan McLaren. Row number 5, going to be Michael Vitale and Jason Butterfield. Then we go back to GJ Boydell alongside Jack Clevenger in row number 6. Trevor Garreau, Jeffrey Barker will make up what is the 7th row from positions number 13 and 14. Then we go to Harold Clump and Roger Craig to make up row number 8. Row number 9 will be Barry Goldner alongside Butch Baker. Then we go back to Pat Boyce and John Morano from positions number 19 and 20. Row 11, Kelly Wheeler alongside Zach Chapman, Gary Siegelco and Andrew Hansley to make up the second last row, positions number 23 and 24. And then the final starter in car number 9, Brian Lawson. So again, the field is set. 25 starters. In fact, I believe there's 24 because Pat Boyce did not make the call for this one. Let's just check one thing. So I believe we're going to set him around 2 times. So Pat Boyce, he actually missed the start, so he's not actually going to be here for this one. But we'll see whether he can find his way back on the racing surface. I think we are still going to send him around 2 more times behind the racing.com and Steve King Foundation safety car. That indeed we are. So again, don't forget to follow us on the social media pages on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Coast to Coast Racing, what is 6 nights a week, and broadcast about 1,000 races a week, I think. It's quite a lot for the amount of time and money they input for these drivers to have a place to race each and every week. If you want to get involved, check out Coast to Coast on the web, www.c2crl.com. Here we go, it's showtime, final 75 laps. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back live for 75 here at the Volusia Speedway Park, and Corey Boudinot going to get a good restart on the outside of the front row. He'll drag Race DeWert Jr. down the back straightaway. Who will it be? This is the first time that DeWert has had the challenge from anybody to the outside, and that lap is going to belong to Corey Boudinot. So there is Pat Boyce, so we are going to have to restart the timing as well, just for the cars that missed out on this one, but doesn't really matter because, again, we know who's who. We can tell you who is who in the zoo. It's Mark Gilbert in the 17 car, working now to the outside. He got by Anthony Morano in the 32. Now comes after Dylan DeWert Jr. in that 20 car. I'll tell you what I'll go with. I'll go with Dylan DeWert. Morano coming back right now at Gilbert down into turn number 3 and 4. It's still going to be Mark Gilbert holding on to the final spot in this podium. DeWert again knows that now he needs to save the equipment. These drivers have got a fresh race car. They've got fresh tyres. Samuel Bachman coming after Dan McLaren. Verstraeten alongside the 127 car as they work off for turn number 4. And the 127 car is Jesse Atkinson. There we go. Now we've got our timing and scoring up properly. There we go. Now it should all work for you. We bring it back live once again here from Volusia. DeWert going to close in on Gilbert, but Gilbert just driving away from DeWert as here comes Samuel Bachman to the outside. And you go back to Morano and McLaren, Atkinson, Vitale, Verstraeten, Clevenger, Butterfield, Barker, Garreau. Then you look back at Klump. So there is just the Hornets pack. There's a pack of Hornets right now. There is a whole lot of cars. As here we go, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Morano diving it down to the inside on DeWert. Then DeWert going through the middle. Going to the inside there of the 007 car of Samuel Bachman. 1 car into the wall. That's Pat Boyce in the 041 machine. And again, let's the lead cars on the lead pack go, but it's not going to matter. Dan McLaren goes around pole. That is a real inconvenient place to sit, light pole. That was a real inconvenience to sit that light pole right there. Oh, Bachman along with McLaren just getting tied up there on the back straightaway. boys. Caught a big piece of that one as well. You can see the left front really broken on that race car. Boy, you get Gary Sigleco had the life nearly taken out of him just then. So this is going to be an interesting restart right now. Because you've got your race leader of Corey Budino, and he will start up alongside Mark Gilbert. And again, Gilbert has been pretty consistent in what was in the first 75 laps of the feature event. He showed some good speed. So we'll see what Gilbert can do in the 17 car. And you double the 17, you'll get 34. And that's your race leader. So our final 60, what will now be 67 laps of the A main here this evening. Gee, I tell you what, you just never know what is going to happen. Oh, there goes the mouse, just doesn't want to work. There we go, apologies. Alright, back underway. A main time once again. It's going to be Gilbert, Morano, Atkinson. Atkinson fighting around the outside. Atkinson going to look to move into a podium position right now. But can he keep the speed and momentum up in that 127 car as Gilbert puts the fight there on Morano down into turn number 1 and 2. Gilbert again working down to the low side off turn number 4. Morano again to the outside. Gee, I tell you what. It's still on right now for the minor placings. Atkinson, who really wasn't even really spoken about up until those, what was it, the final, basically the first 5 laps of this second half of the feature event. But now he's started to get his stuff together. He's got it figured out, and we'll see how far he can go through this field. So still watching Gilbert in the 17, Atkinson in the 127 car. You just don't really want to take your eyes off it. Because you know these guys, well, you know they're just excitement machines right now. We'll go yellow here at Volusia one more time. So yellow back on the raceway here at Volusia. Yes, I did. I did slam my mouse because it wasn't working. Sure, simple. You make things work, makes my life easier. Why is it not showing up there? Are we on that? We should be on that. Okay, we are. So why is that not coming up on... No idea why that's not coming up there. I know we're live on there. That's probably why I can't see any of the comments. Right, here we go. Back underway. A-main time one more time. This time it'll be Corey Budno to lead Jesse Atkinson. Anthony Morano once again. Atkinson and Morano will resume the battle right there for the winner placings. 61 circuits. A little over 30 miles as Budino slides up. Atkinson tries to get a run on the exit of turn number 2. Morano and Gilbert side by side. Give it to Morano down into turn number 3 by half a car length. First, second, and fourth all run nose to tail. Pretty much identical lines. Gilbert nearly into the back of Jesse Atkinson. He's nearly pushing him. Boy, I tell you what, boys, you know we're in 358 modifieds. We're not at Daytona just yet, but hey, I tell you what, give it about another 40 minutes time and you might just be at Daytona if you're lucky. Morano holds on to position number 3 by Gilbert by about a few 1,000ths of a second, by probably about 25 1,000ths of a second. Darlin DeWert Jr. in the 20 machine. Then you go back to Michael Vitale just outside the top 5. And here comes DeWert Jr. now with a run on Morano. Challengers on for the lead. Here comes Atkinson. Atkinson outside. Does he go the cut down line? He can't really go the cut down line because he's got Mark Gilbert to the inside. Gee, I'll tell you what, Atkinson in the 127 car, boys, making that car work a treat and work over the 34 car of Corey Budino. Can Corey hold on for a victory? He also works with Joe White and OSR Network. Pretty sure you hear him once or twice through the week anyway with Joe White. And maybe even be once here as well on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. So I'm sure would love to see Corey in victory lane and get one for the team. So again, your top 3 have just settled down right there. Is now top 4, top 5. They all just fall in line. First battles on screen right there is the 97 car, Butch Baker alongside Jeffrey Barker. And that's for outside the top 10. So that's for 11 and 12 position. Just as I say that, Jesse Atkinson moved down to the inside there in 1 and 2. But just as we went back to it, we had a yellow. I almost want to drag Corey in right now just to have a word with him, but we need to let the man concentrate. We need to let him focus. So again, these restarts are going to be crucial, especially for the second place car. He needs to time it. If he doesn't time it all that well, that second row, third and fourth place cars are going to be all over him. I know we do, Dean. I know we do. Hell, that's why I went pro. I made Pro Series. In 2020, I made the Pro Series. So Budino now going to choose the outside of the front row. So Atkinson needs to go with him here, and that, yeah, he somewhat goes with him. So still gets a good restart, but Budino going to shut the door down into turn number 1. Now look at DeWert around the outside there of Gilbert as they work down the back straightaway. Vitalia, did he catch a piece of the backstretch wall going down into turn number 3? It certainly looked like it. How does Atkinson play this one? DeWert still trying to make the complete bottom side work. We're nearly 50 laps to go, so we're almost at 100 completed laps here at Volusia. Atkinson again, here he goes, closing in right now on your race leader just as he goes to make the move. Yellow's going to come out, and well, I tell you what, he's done it yet again. He goes to make the move, and Corey Budino just getting lucky on these timely cautions. But still, is it enough to hold on for the final 51 laps? We know so far after the first nearly 2/3 of this feature event, we know he's got the talent to hold on and contend for the race win. So there's the 127 car. Let's take a look on board right now out the back of your race leader of Corey Budino. We've got a number of good angles here, and I tell you what, I actually hope he restarts on the outside because this would be somewhat of a good angle. It looks like he's actually going to choose that outside line. I agree, Aaron, but these are 358 modifieds. Yeah, 2020 Dynamite Pro Series. I used a Fanatec McLaren GT3 rim. It was no pedals. It had the accelerator and brake pedal shifter paddles at the back of the wheel. That's how I made Pro Series. Only person to make Pro Series that doesn't use wheels. Doesn't use steering wheel and pedals, I should say. There's a good shot. Oh, look out. There's contact between Gilbert and Atkinson. And Gilbert now is going to move into position number 2. So riding on board right now with your race leader. Watching out the back to see how close these drivers will get. 50 laps is all that separates one of these drivers going to victory lane. Can Atkinson, can he find a way back up to the runner-up position? Meanwhile, look at Michael Vitali. Boy, I tell you what, Vitali, he's just slowly picking these cars off, slowly coming through this field. And Vitali is making it work through the middle of the raceway. Dylan DeWert Jr. back there, he's fallen back outside of a pony in a battle for a 4th and 5th spot. So inside the top 5. Gee, that restart and the contact into turn number 1 there for the restart lap. It really hurt Jesse Atkinson in that number 127 car. But what is gonna happen with Mark Gilbert? I spoke about it during the heat race. He just looked like he was throwing the car into 3 and 4, just getting a little too sideways. I thought he might have been burning up his equipment during that first 75 lap feature event, but I tell you what, he's making a lie out of me. And I tell you what, he's making a race of this one. Will go yellow. Again, we get those 3, 4, 5, 6 lap runs in, then the yellow comes out, leading us back to the caution flag, and just gives time for Corey Budino to just have a good hard think about what the game plan is going to be. So again, we look forward to having your company later on tonight. But let's talk about what is to come here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for the final night of the Speedweek competition. It is going to be the next-gen cars at Daytona for 100 laps, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. Of course, to start off this night, of course, Venom Racing, night number 5 Speed Week. But the Daytona race will be live with Marty and Slide Job Racing Network, and live here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So still plenty of action to come here this evening. Of course, live later on tonight on Ultimate Dirt TV. We will have the Down and Dirty Outlaws Pro Late Models presented by Speed Ranch. And if you come back for that one about 9:30 Eastern, we hope to see you back in the chat rooms cheering on some drivers. Alright, here we go. We are ready. And we're back underway. It is Dylan DeWert who's found his way with a battle there with Anthony Morano for 5th and 6th position, but they're on screen. Goes the race leader, Corey Boudinot, along with Mark Gilbert in the 17, Jesse Atkinson in car number 127, Michael Vitale in the 213 car as well. Boy, I tell you what, he's made a real good run of this one here this evening, and he's just outside of a podium position. Atkinson nearly pushing Gilbert through turn number 1 and 2. You just know that he wants to push a little bit harder. 43 to go. You turn the numbers around. That's what you get for your race leader, the 34 car. DeWert, Morano, wheel to wheel. Here comes Atkinson. Gilbert made a little mistake and Atkinson goes on by. That's what we're waiting for. We just caught the back end of that one. And Atkinson has now found his way back to the runner-up position. And now will set his sights on that 34 car of Corey Boudinot, your race leader still. We go back 10, 15 laps to go. Atkinson went to make a move not once but twice on your race leader. However, just as he went to make the move, the yellow would come out and would save the 34 car. Trent Verstraeten as well, just again as we get to complete another lap. We'll go yellow with 40 left to run. So that is over the first 75 and over this first 35. That is 110 laps completed. And this is a marathon, my guys. It is a marathon. And it's why it is so tough to win these races. So again, we split the 150 lap feature event just because of the fuel situation here on our racing and the fixed setup. They wouldn't be able to run 150 laps with the caution laps not counting, so the best way forward to do that was just alter the format just a little bit, but split them into twin 75 lap feature event, but of course only count this back half of this feature as the checkered flag. Lights are out. So it looks like we go single file restart. No, in fact, now we're going to double them up. I thought it looked like we were going single file restart, but the boys just got the backsides into gear, and the pace car comes off once again. One more time, we are back to green, and this time it's Jesse Atkinson with a run, and he made sure that the door was not going to get completely shut there by Corey Boudinot. Oh, look out, Mark Gilbert starting to slip back just a little bit, and almost slipping outside. The top 5 goes the 17 car. But look at Anthony Morano now, wheeling and dealing on the top side of the raceway. Morano, Atkinson nearly into the side of Boudinot. That allows Morano to make a run by the 127 car. And here comes Morano with 38 to go at the line. Corey Boudinot, look out, you've got company. But here comes Jesse Atkinson. Atkinson was so good there on the exit of turn number 4 and even through the middle of 3 and 4. Here comes DeWert now. Remember Dylan DeWert, he led the first 75 laps of this main event, and he led for probably the first 5 to 10 of the back half before just falling back. And again, these yellows just taking a toll on some of the drivers, but falling right into the hands and falling right into the lap of that 34 car. So again, who is going to take out this 150 lap main event? Venom Racing Speedweek night number 5. It's tough going. It's a tough deal, these speed weeks. Here we are back underway. Ready once again for the start. Let's go racing one more time. Does not surprise me. Atkinson now looking for the race lead over Boudinot. DeWert, Morano side by side. So you've got 2 by 2 by 1 by 1 by 1. Here comes DeWert to the outside of Atkinson. Atkinson falls back to position number 3, and DeWert finds his way back to the runner-up spot. As now again, here comes DeWert now, looking to return the favour to get back by Corey Boudinot. Boudinot made the pass, some 30-odd laps to go, and he's been at the head of the field for the longest time in this second half of this feature event, but you never count out the number 20 car of Dylan DeWert Jr. Atkinson has to check up. Morano Backman checks up as well. Look at Zach Chapman starting to come through as well in the Scooby-Doo. Trent Verstraeten, Michael Vitale, they are all there. So your top 9 cars are within a second and a half, but here is your top 4 on screen. To the bottom goes Boudinot, to the middle goes Dylan DeWert Jr. Just a car length separating is all that happens. Look how one car, Gary Silco, into the wall, and again these yellows falling at the right time for the 34 car. You wonder if the cautions are going to be what beats everybody else except for Corey Boudinot. And again, those cautions at the right time. Boy, tough going for some of these drivers. Gee, that 20 car looks ominous for a victory. Still not over just yet. Here we go, back underway one more time. G. DeWert didn't get a good start there. Apologies for just getting something sorted here on the back end, but again we continue on here with what is your feature event. And Corey Boudinot, boy, I tell you what, he's been one driver that has really been absolutely supreme here this evening. It's all if he can hold on. Because we know that the 20 car of DeWert is going to be one to watch in this main event. We are less than 30 to run. Morano now. Morano closing in on your race leader. Boudinot again still working exactly where he needs to be through the middle of the raceway. DeWert back to fourth position. He's got Samuel Backman in fifth and Jesse Atkinson, who was good in the past 20 laps, has found his way outside the top five. He's back there in sixth position. Zach Chapman seventh, Jason Butterfield, Dan McLaren, Michael Vitale rounds out your top 10. Closing in on the race lead one more time. Another lap into the books here for this final, or second last race, I should say, of the Steve King Foundation for the Speedweek. Night number 5 presented here by Venom Racing. If Boudinot can hang on, you know that the roof is going to be lifted off his house. Looking for a feature win here in Coast to Coast Racing. He slides up just a little bit. Then again, you just look at the different lanes, especially on the exit of turn number 4. And Morano is half a tenth quicker there on the previous lap. In fact, you go to the top 7 cars, and your race leader was in fact the slowest lap time there on the previous lap. It just goes to show you right now that if you're not inside, if you're inside the top 10, and again, just as Morano gets to Boudinot, just as he thinks about trying to make a move, have a look what happens. So again, these cautions are coming out, and they are saving. They are saving this 34 car. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And right now, well, he's a little bit of both. Will his luck run out? Only time will tell. So 2 to green for the moment for your race leader, the 34 car of Corey Boudinot. Anthony Morano in car number 32, back there in second spot, the 17 car of Mark Gilbert, back in position number 3. And again, he's the driver that I spoke about earlier on in the night. I just thought he was just getting that car just a little too sideways, especially during that heat race. Turns out not just yet. 17 car's got some little sneaky idea of what he's doing. So back to double file formation. All right, let's go. We're finding ourselves back under caution once again. Oh, that was Gilbert in the 17. Let's have a look at Gilbert. What happened here on this replay? Oh, Atkinson got him. Jesse Atkinson in the 127 just tags the back of the 17 car. Right there. McLaren involved. Wheeler involved. Vitali involved. Gee, that is absolutely heartbreak right there. Again, these lights are out. Field once again doubled up into rows of 2 by 2. Boudinot and Morano. You go back to DeWert alongside Atkinson, Backman and Chapman. 22 remain. Jesse Atkinson with a good run and a good restart. Down into 1 we go. Atkinson now trying to come after your race leader. Does he stay top side or does he cut it down to the inside? He's going to stay upstairs down into turn number 3. Maybe just figured something out in the 127 car. Corey Boudinot still your race leader right there from Jesse Atkinson. There you go back some 40 laps ago. You remember these two guys 40, 50 laps ago. These were the top 2 guys where Atkinson not once, not twice, but out 3 or 4 times. He was looking to make a pass on Boudinot. But again, those cautions just saving the 34 car. 20 laps is all that separates Corey Boudinot and a race win. As there goes Morano down to the inside of Jesse Atkinson down the back straightaway. Morano, different line. Boudinot doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know whether he wants to go bottom, middle, slider line. And that's what sometimes can suck right now, being a sitting duck out in front. Atkinson closed in there in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Previous lap, Atkinson was nearly half a tenth quicker there over your race leader of Corey Boudinot. Again, sometimes it's better to be in second place at this stage, but then the shoe goes on the other foot. If you're out in front, you hope that the cautions come your way, so then you can at least have about 2, 3, 4 laps for these cars. A run up, and the drivers have found their the momentum and the mojo back. Top 4 on screen once again as they work off turn number 4. Boudinot still leading the way from Atkinson. Morano, DeWert, Zach Chapman in 5th position. 16 to run. And the 127 car of Jesse Atkinson. He is really closing in right now. He is starting to put more and more pressure on Boudinot as they work down the back straightaway. Morano still holding on to the final spot of this podium session. Then you go back to Dylan DeWert Jr. in 4th position. Zach Chapman rounds out to top 5. But again, out in front goes the 34 car. Less than 2 tenths. Oh boy, what happened? What happened to Boudinot? Something's gone wrong, and Morano goes to the race lead. No, that's going to be Morano and DeWert. They were 3rd and 4th. Just a lap ago. And something gone amiss on the 34 car. Oh boy, you've got to feel for Boudinot. That car just slowed big time on the back straightaway. And now he's outside of a podium position as Atkinson slides up right across the nose of the 34 car. But Boudinot comes back at Atkinson. Now your race for 3rd and 4th is on down the back straightaway. Yellow is out. Oh my goodness. Holy dooly. And still got it going on right now. You just never know when things are going to change. And the things may have just changed for the worse just then, unfortunately, for Corey Boudinot. But boy, I tell you what, he has had an absolute outstanding race here this evening. Pace car in. Morano, DeWert, 1, 2, off for 10 of 4 we go. And with 12 to run. DeWert going to protect that inside line from Atkinson, but Atkinson still trying to fight back as well. Look at Atkinson and Boudinot come together on the back straightaway. And just like that, in the space of what has been 5 laps, you go from leading the race to nearly outside the top 15. And that is just absolutely bad luck for the 34 car. Garreau to the outside of Butterfield down the back straightaway. This is to move back into position number 5. And Jesse Atkinson, boy, he drove that 127 deep down into 3 and 4. Meanwhile, your race leader of Anthony Morano has only got about a car length, less than a car length now from Dylan DeWert Jr. Back there in the second position. And both these guys right now, as here comes a slider there from Chapman, I should say, on Bachman. So Zach Chapman moving into position number 3. Eight to run in the main event. So we're well and truly in single digits. We will go yellow when we go to, well, we're just as we're about to tick over to 8 to run. Eight to go for Anthony Morano. DeWert, Chapman, it's up 3. Bachman, lights are out. So single file restarts inside of 10 to go. Back to main event racing. We've completed now 142 laps of 150. And yellow coming back out. 78 car of Jack Clevenger there. Facing the wrong way, that's not ideal. He's in 7th position. Atkinson gets into the back room, not once but twice. Oh, Vitali, nice evasive action there from Vitali. Well, well, well. There is that 32 car, the Anthony Morano entry. And you'll notice if you listen to a lot of these drivers, their interviews, whenever they get the chance to thank people, either one of the first people or one of the last people they thank is their partners and wives. And hey, without them, allowing not only me, but allowing everybody else and letting their partners come on the computer and come into iRacing, do these league races. Yeah, hats off to them. So your race leader of Anthony Morano. So Morano, DeWitt, no doubt talking amongst each other. Just trying to come up with some sort of game plan as to how these final 7 laps will go. You know they both want the win. Morano good through 1 and 2. Chapman gets by Backman for that, well, what is that restart for 3rd and 4th position. This Chapman already restarted in position number 3. Butterfield, Gilroy going to go out along with Mark Gilbert in the 17 car. So Gilbert finding his way back up into the top 10, as is Jesse Atkinson. And just 5 laps left to run for Anthony Morano. So your top 3 on screen from left to right. Anthony Morano in car number 32. Dylan DeWitt Jr. in the 20 car in second. The Scooby-Doo blue and green entry of Zach Chapman in position number 3. Then you go back to the 007 car. That Full Throttle Motorsports entry of Samuel Backman. He's in 4th position. Then the 93 car, Jason Butterfield in 5th. Trevor Garreau, Mark Gilbert, Jesse Atkinson in positions number 6, 7, and 8. Jeffrey Barker in 9th. Harold Klump rounds out your top 10. And again, the lap's winding down with what is now going to be 3 to go. Gilbert and Garreau with Atkinson. Let's hope to see if we can get these final 3 laps in. Garreau and Gilbert. Gilbert is good through the middle. DeWitt looking to close in, but I think it's all going to be too little, too late as the white flag about to fly here at the Volusia Speedway Park. If we can get past the start-finish line, we're now going to finish this 150 lap A main event off, and it's going to be at Full Throttle Motorsports 1 and 2 cars as they work down the back straightaway for the final time down into turn number 3. Off for turn number 4, Venom Racing, small block modifieds, 150 laps for the Steve King Foundation Speedweek night. The first part is done. As the checkered flag will fly here at the Volusia Speedway Park, and taking just a little bit to get this done, but it is in the books. Let's take a look at your official results before we take a quick chat with your top 3. Anthony Morano, Dylan DeWitt Jr., Zach Chapman. That'll be your top 3. 4th and 5th, we'll go to Samuel Backman and Mark Gilbert. 6 is Jason Butterfield, Trevor Garreau, Jesse Atkinson, Harold Klump, Jeffrey Barker, your top 10. Brian Lawson, Butch Baker, Michael Vitale, Roger Craig, and Corey Boudinot, the top 15. Barry Goldner, a lap down, 16. Pat Boyce in 17th. Gary Siegelco, Jack Clevenger, Kelly Wheeler, your top 20. Then we go back to Dan McLaren, Trent Verstraeten, John Morano, Andrew Hansley, and GJ Boydell for the final drivers in this one. We are ready to go trackside and chat to our top 3 here in just a few moments' time. We're just waiting for them to actually get out of the race cars, and once they are out, we will be going to chat to our 3rd place finisher of Zach Chapman. Zach, congratulations, 3rd place finish here tonight. Boy, that was a long race, but hey, 3rd place at the end of this one. You can't be too disappointed with that one.
No, I had a bit of bad luck in the first 75 laps, so I had to start this thing in 20th something. So if you would have told me that I was going to finish 3rd, I would have called you a liar. So I'm definitely happy where I finished tonight.
Obviously, these big races, these 150 laps there, they're split into 2 75-lap races. What did you learn from the first one that you applied into the second one?
Just that, it's all about throttle control. And the end here, I was a little too aggressive, I think, moving up through the field there with literally 2 laps to go, right as I was coming to the white flag. my spotter came over and told me I had to watch my tire wear. So I imagine my damage is in the 20s on that right rear. So I was a little too aggressive, but luckily it was only 75 laps and not 80.
Zach, well done on a third place finish here tonight at the Volusia Speedway Park. Before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 72 car, mate.
First off, Brett, I'd like to thank you for doing this for Charity Week. We really appreciate you broadcasting. You do an amazing job, and we're lucky to have you here. I'd like to thank all my teammates at Gambler Motorsports. Couldn't do this without them. Uh, Andy Piercefield with Cool Ray, Aiden Young with Young Gun Creations, Roger Craig for trying to wrangle all of us bad boys in all the time, all the admins, last but not least, my dad, and then, of course, the number one, my wife.
Zach, well done on third place, mate. We'll see you back next week, hopefully.
Yep, appreciate it.
Well, I called it during that race, everybody. One of the first people or the last people that they thank is their partners. Home in second place tonight is the 20 car of Dylan DeWitt Jr. Now, I've been told, is it Dylan or Dylan?
It's Dylan.
Dylan. All right. I thought they were having me on, but I went with it towards the back end of that one. But, hey, mate, well done on second spot. Boy, you showed some tremendous car speed in the first half of this race. Then the back half of the race sort of didn't go to plan. I guess, was it just a case of saving tires and making sure that you're going to be good for the last 15, 20 laps?
Yeah, honestly, I think I probably should have just went for it. I don't think the tires would have been actually any better. I actually think that was a mistake to sandbag a little bit in the beginning. I think it would have been better to dictate the pace of the race. But yeah, at the end there, I mean, it was a lockdown track. I mean, I don't think me and Tony would have actually gone any further if those two didn't get together up front. That was more luck than anything. I don't think there was anything else except really that lane and a half.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was certainly exciting to watch, especially those last sort of 15 laps there when, yourself, Anthony, there was Jesse, Corey, you guys are up at the top four. You guys put on a tremendous show. But, mate, well done on this second place finish. Before we let you go, who would you like to thank on this 20 car?
Congratulations to Anthony for winning a race. Everybody else at FTM, Gunnar at Swan Speed Shop, Dean with Super Dirt Car, of course, Bombs Tech Services, Coast to Coast for putting this thing on, and you for broadcasting it, man. I appreciate it.
Dylan, well done on second spot. There we go, Dylan DeWitt Jr. home in position number 2. We'll now chat to your winner in the 32 car. It is Anthony Morano. And Anthony, 150 laps around Volusia, 358 modifieds. Venom Racing, night number 5 of the Steve King Foundation Speedweek. You come away victorious. How you feeling after 150 laps?
That took a long time, man. My arms are beat.
Next question is, are you doing the Daytona race?
No, I am not. I'm not doing any. Didn't do any of the asphalt stuff.
Yeah, so you're just politely saying that you're a little bit scared of the asphalt stuff, but you can't back it up and do another 100 laps at Daytona.
I don't think my arms could handle another 100 laps, honestly.
These races split into twin 75 lappers. The thought process on how you were going to attack this 150 lap race.
Well, my whole plan was just to try to conserve tires, but push the car enough where I stayed in the top 5, top 10 at least. At least for the second race. And I'm not exactly sure what happened with Corey there going down the backstretch. I think I heard him say something about his VR glitched or something, and I saw a hole. And I mean, I know I came across his nose pretty close, but you only get one opportunity, and you got to take it.
Start calling you Eminem. Yeah, you've only got one shot, and you certainly took that shot, and you certainly made it yours. Anthony, congratulations on the victory here tonight at the Volusia Speedway Park for the final night of the Steve King Foundation Coast to Coast Racing Speedweek, night number 5, brought to you by Venom Racing. Anthony, before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 32 car.
I got to thank everyone over at Full Throttle Motorsports, Super Dirt Car Series, Hi Mom Lens, MDI TV, Swan Speed Shop, Venom Racing for sponsoring tonight, you for doing a broadcast, DJ and Sam out there helping me out a lot, telling me what lines are a little bit better here and there and what I can do to be a little bit better. Like I said, you and Roger and everybody at Coast to Coast for putting the show on.
You're forgetting one person. Come on, she's on the hood of your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's already asleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely gotta thank Sherry.
There we go, mate. Well done on the victory. We'll see you back next week.
All right, Brett. Have a good one.
Anthony Morano, your winner here tonight from the Volusia Speedway Park. And, of course, that will wrap up the first part of this doubleheader with the Steve King Foundation Coast to Coast Racing Speed Week night number 5, presented by Venom Racing. We'll bring Marty. And Marty, Daytona, you ready to go?
We are all good to go. Final asphalt race, final race of Speed Week, and it's starting to get tight down to the wire here on the asphalt points. Quinn Gingrich, not sure if he's going to be showing up. A 4-point advantage on Matt Moreau. Those two drivers had some good runs when I did the broadcast Monday night of the ARCA cars here at Daytona. But it's anyone's game pretty much still. It's going to be really tight. Anyone has a chance to win it, and we're looking forward to it.
All right, team up. Well, we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for the Ultimate Dirt TV side of things. We are going to say farewell, good night, but until then, we'll see you back next time here on Ultimate Dirt TV.